Today's education news, those damaging and reductive one-word Ofsted grades are to stay. Because the government say they have significant benefits. To who? The only people who benefit from these Ofsted gradings are Ofsted, because it just gives them all the credence and power they don't deserve, and obviously the government, so that they can trot out this spiel to say how much they've improved education, because now 90% of schools are rated good or outstanding, yet everyone involved in education, anyone who's got a child in education, knows that falls flat when they see day in, day out the detrimental impact this government has had on the profession. They say it gives parents an important summary of local schools. Well, I find that quite insulting to say that parents can only work out what a school's like if they're just told one word. Actually, now I think parents, with everything that's been in the media and everything that they've seen, are starting to realise just how inconsistent these Ofsted inspections are, so probably don't trust them. I'm not buying that. I need to see evidence where the government can prove that parents actually care about these one-word judgments. As I've said, I just think that's an insult to parents. I just feel so sorry for Ruth Perry's friends and family, her sister Julia, who has worked tirelessly and been so outspoken and campaigned, met with Ofsted, met with the government to try and bring positive change after this tragedy. For the government to then name Ruth in their response and turn around and go, "We're not changing anything." And the coroner ruled in December that the inspection contributed to Ruth Perry's death, saying there is a risk of further deaths unless action is taken. Because remember, this isn't an isolated incident. There have been at least 10 other cases before Ruth where Ofsted have been accused of contributing to the death. And I know that since Ruth's death, there have been other cases as well. So to have that and this report from the Cross-Party Education Select Committee, where they called for an end to these single-word judgments, for the government to just basically turn around and say no, what's the point of all that time and all that effort going in for this government to just basically turn around and say, we're not changing anything? So am I disappointed with this news? Yes. Am I surprised with the government's response to this? Actually, I am. Now, I've held this Tory government in utter contempt, and I've said on numerous occasions, and I'll say it again, since they've come in power, there's not been a single thing they've implemented that has had a positive impact on teaching, in my opinion. But with everything that's gone on with this, the evidence that's been put forward, the reports that have been written, the coroner's investigation, how pretty much every teacher's crying out for this change. Even Ofsted inspectors themselves, I've had a number of them tell me that they want change with this Ofsted inspection grading system. The fact that over in Wales they've got rid of it. Genuinely thought this would have been the easiest win. We're heading into an election. This would have been the easiest way for the government to say that they are listening, they are taking on board our concerns, but instead it's just a massive two fingers up to say that they literally do not care about teachers' well-being and welfare. So if they're not even willing to do the simplest, the easiest thing of taking away these toxic one-word judgments, this idea that other reform's going to happen, I'm not holding out any hope. This whole big listen from Ofsted is just a massive PR exercise that will just allow them to continue to go about doing what they're doing, where they are simply an unregulated regulation body. This idea that Ofsted raise standards, no they don't. No teacher comes out of an Ofsted inspection a better teacher. It doesn't improve them. The only positive feeling any teacher has from an Ofsted inspection is utter relief. And this idea that Ofsted are just all about the children, which is what allows them to treat teachers with so little respect, because the needs of the children are more important than teachers' feelings, is utterly ridiculous when this toxic inspection system is the major contributor to why so many incredible teachers are leaving the profession, leading to the biggest retention crisis we have ever seen. The government aren't willing to accept that. Ofsted aren't willing to accept that, and which is why it's going to continue and we're going to see it even worsen. But like I say, my thoughts are with Ruth's friends, family, Julia, her sister, because I just cannot imagine how heartbreaking it can be to go through all of this to then just have the government turn around and say that they're not going to change anything.